Hey everybody, this is Sean Sandridge. Thanks for clicking onto my channel. Please thumbs up the channel, hit like, subscribe, tell a friend. I'm on a road trip with my friend Joyce, who is off camera.
Hello.
And she is going to be my co-host today. We are on a road trip. My friend Joyce is from Chicago, so I drove to Chicago. What side are you from?
South side.
South side.
That's right.
All right, so she's on the south side of Chicago, and we're going to Danville, Illinois, to visit a friend of ours, another military friend. So we are coming in for Newsweek, Jumpstart January 2016, and we're going to go off the dome, and we're going to try to keep it PG.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be
Okay,
PG.
PG. Okay.
Total.
All right.
So no F words, no bombs and stuff.
No
like
F bombs.
that.
Okay. So it's Newsweek, so we're going off the dome. I talked to her briefly about a couple of topics I wanted to talk about. We don't have a lot of time, so there's going to be a point of view segment, POV, points of view, and we'll probably do a part 1 and a part 2. So I got about 13 minutes on this one. Okay. So let's do one real quick. And I mentioned this once again, Twitter beef, Instagram beef with 50 Cent and Meek Mill. So, your thoughts? What is your thought? Here's my question. What is your thought about men bickering on the internet?
Well, I guess in 50 Cent's case, it might be safer for him to just do it via the internet.
Okay, he's just being trigger happy with his fingers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I don't understand the whole beefing on internet and for the whole world to see. I don't understand that, and I definitely don't understand two men going back and forth.
Right. Two men.
Two buff men that are supposed to be hardcore.
No, that's not hardcore.
No. So
that's not hardcore.
It makes you wonder. But I don't understand it at all.
I'm not gonna say anything. Okay, so okay. No. Well, I'm gonna tell you that I had a little thing for him.
50 Cent?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, he dated Vivica Fox.
Yeah, that's not it. But I had a little thing for him. The body's looking
tight.
The body's looking real good. And but
he's a butterface.
Well, I'm just saying, he's from New York. He's actually from where I'm from.
Really?
Like, yeah, stomping grounds. Never met him.
Nice.
But I'm thinking another time, another place, maybe.
Yeah.
But every time I see him on the internet, I'm like, no.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Stop.
Yeah.
Like, his man factor for me goes down
every time he pulls out that thumb instrument.
This is where opposable thumbs is not good for the
human race.
The human race.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So all right, and we both agree
it's not manly.
It's not very manly at all. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, if my husband for one, I can't even imagine my husband having a beef with somebody and like posting this irate, I'm going to write you a 4-page letter, right. Aaliyah style.
Right.
On the internet,
because I've been treating me, and I want you to understand that I'm better than you.
I guess
I'm a man.
No one picks up the phone?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that 2010?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what this new thing is. So.
I don't know. I don't like it. And his man factor for me is going down as time goes on. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're moving on from that. We want to do something light before moving on to something a little bit heavy. So I came in giggling because we just okay, so first we'll just start with Stacey Dash. Ashley Miller did a little post regarding Stacey Dash doing a little sit-down interview, saying that we should get rid of our BET and Black History Month, and we should integrate, not segregate, and that all these other awards are for black people because they're black, which I said Sam Smith won an award, and he clearly is not black or African American or African descent.
Straight.
Okay, that is not a criteria, but
I'm just saying.
Yes, okay, but so that kind of debunks that. But anyway, what are your thoughts? Because we just saw now the article with Stacey Dash. Now we're getting both of our information from the Root and the Griot.
Right.
We're on the road. Please don't quote me which one's which. Just Google each one. But how do you feel about that?
Well, I understand what she probably was trying to relay, that if we're trying to get rid of segregation, then we need to get rid of everything that's supposed to be exclusively for one race. But the reality is that if we can't do that, it's just not going to happen. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to, especially with the BET, because it's no longer black owned. So what's the point of getting rid of BET?
And I don't know too many people who watch BET.
No.
I mean, the BET that I grew up with,
Yeah.
is completely different than the BET now.
Yes. Because back then the BET had the news, BET had information.
Teen Summit.
Teen Summit.
I
They had
love
all
Teen
this
Summit.
stuff. Now it's just a collection of buffoons that get on there to do things that's, it's not becoming to a lot of black people, as far as, that's my opinion. But, and I don't even think I watch BET. I don't even know what channel BET is on
Isn't the
anymore.
game on BET?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But I don't think it was originally on BET. It was not originally on BET. And
Okay.
before it went to BET, I used to watch it, but I don't watch any programs on BET at all.
Okay, so they need a different image. And but I disagree.
Yeah.
So the reason why I disagree is because I was on Blab a couple of days ago, and we were talking about the generation of civil rights and all that stuff, and history and all that stuff. And I was saying that I in elementary school, I went to a predominantly black elementary school. And so, that was where we used to do the Pledge of Allegiance,
Yep.
and we would do the Star Spangled Banner and lift every voice and sing.
Yes.
So that's how I started my education. And then when I went to junior high school and high school, I was integrated into, predominantly white school. But my foundation was at a primarily all black school. But not all my teachers were black, and history was taught, but the history that I learned at home.
Right.
And so in today's climate, I don't expect my kids to learn history in school.
Nope.
I expect that I give them the tools and resources. We have conversations, and that's how we learn. But the problem that I'm seeing now is that we just saw an article about a book about George Washington. What was it? A book about George Washington. And they had decided, they meaning the board.
Yes, it was from this company called Scholastics, and they had a book that was about George Washington and his slaves, and his slaves was baking him a birthday cake. And in the book, it stated that everyone was so happy to bake this birthday cake because his slave Hercules did this for him every year, but there was a problem this year because it didn't have any sugar. So they were all out of sugar. So the issue is that the people don't feel that is a correct depiction or showing of slaves, because it doesn't state that soon after Hercules actually ran away and became a free slave. And they feel like if you're going to talk about slaves and George Washington and his ownership, then you need to take ownership of everything and not show that these slaves were very, very happy, because how could they possibly be happy?
Right,
Yeah.
because the way the story is being told is essentially Hercules is very excited to be making this cake, as if Hercules is there by choice.
Right, here's the actual statement.
Okay.
It says, "Oh, how George Washington loves his cake," reads the publisher's description of the story. "And oh, how he depends on Hercules, his head chef, to make it for him. Hercules, a slave, takes great pride in baking the president's cake. But this year, there is one problem. They are out of sugar. But to me, that is not the one problem. The problem is that Hercules is a slave. There is no way. And then they also state, how could they smile? How could they be anything but unrelentingly miserable? How could they be proud to bake a cake for George Washington? And so that is the question they feel like they should actually be trying to answer, and not trying to show that slaves are like, happy, joy. Oh, I'm so happy to bake you this cake stuff. I was just so worried that we didn't get enough sugar out the sugar field, son. Yeah, yeah. So
it's a little whitewashing, would you call it?
Yes,
a little whitewashing.
It's beyond a little. Okay. Because they want us to say that we were happy.
That's bringing a whole new case of sugarcoating the facts.
Nice. But yes, bam. Absolutely. Okay. So they're pulling it. Needless to say, they're pulling the book off the shelves.
Okay. So we can't do 12 Years a Slave, because if you've heard some of the details regarding 12 Years a Slave, it's pretty mind churning on the details. But yet that's then we can't swing on the other side of the pendulum, right, and make it seem as if we're tiptoe through the tulips or the sugar cane or the cotton field.
So
we're happy to be here.
Master says go get that sugar.
So this is why I would say, Stacey Dash, that with little bit of history we can make folks stop and think that we contributed to society, that is the US of A.
We got 28 days, or some years 29 days.
That's right. A bonus day.
Right.
Which is why we don't think that should be the case.
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all. That is not going to be able to make any changes whatsoever. It's just going to make us go deeper into the dark, because nobody's ever going to know our history.
No, and by all accounts, in some cases, they're not teaching it at all.
Nope.
And then, of course, although, you know what? I watch a lot of the history shows, the History Channel, and whenever you're talking about, places of color, whether it be Africa, Egypt, there's hardly ever any black people talking about it. No. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely. Unless you're on Facebook.
Everybody's an expert on Facebook. Everybody's a Rhodes Scholar on Facebook.
Exactly.
Okay.
But no, it is true. It's never a person of color.
Yeah, it's never hardly ever anyone that looks like me.
No. But then again, if you look at the movies and you see the individuals that are, portraying our history, 90% of them are white, unless, of course, they're the slaves. Then they want to be true to, the historic background of it. But yeah, if they're going to say in one hand that we were black and that we owned everything in Africa and they know what happened, but then when they do the movies and the shows and they have all these white folks doing it, kind of like
no, now we can be racially ambiguous. I don't say that to be funny. I say that because whenever I go and I'm looking at auditions to go to, and they ask for, you're looking at the character.
Yes.
Today's is not biracial. It's not biracial. No. It is racially ambiguous. So I can never apply for those because we already know what I look like. So I'm out of that pot. So.
But aren't we all racially ambiguous?
No. When they mean racially ambiguous, you can't. Yeah, you know what I know. Yeah, so you can't quite put your finger on it. You can't put your finger.
Yeah.
So I can't ever apply for them because I'll show up and probably get laughed at.
Yeah.
And what racial ambiguity were you going for?
That's right.
Okay.
Like what my inside, I feel like I'm white.
All right, Rachel.
Hush now.
Okay, so we're at 14:20. We're gonna stop on this one, and we're gonna do a part 2.
All right,
guys. See you at part 2.